So how well have we fared in terms of the ambitions that we've set ourselves to transform South Africa into a truly just post-apartheid society? Whilst we will continue to debate and analyze some of the work that has been done and the achievements that we've actually put in place, there are 4 points about our journey that I could share with you. The first is that for quite a while, and prior to the 2008 crisis, South Africa enjoyed, 55 quarters of positive economic growth, and prior to Wall Street coming to Johannesburg, so to speak, we had a growth of between 4.5 and 5%. We had a debt GDP ratio of just over 20%. We had a budget surplus of 1.5%, and jobs were created to the extent of about 2 million jobs, notwithstanding the high structural unemployment that we had in South Africa. All of that was turned around in a few months once the recession came to our shores. It didn't affect the financial system in our country, and together with India, Canada, Australia, we were probably a handful of countries that had fairly sophisticated financial systems but unaffected by the financial crisis. And so we lost 1 million jobs. Our tax GDP ratio fell from about 28% to 23%, and we've currently recovered to the point of about 25%. What we have achieved as a result of restructuring our fiscal position post-1994, and particularly after the Asian crisis of 97-98, is a huge change in delivery of basic services to South Africans. Results obtained through a census process and announced in 2011, or the 2011 process announced last year, indicate huge quantitative delivery on water, sanitation, housing, social assistance, and many other areas. At the same time, some of the fundamentals left behind by apartheid still remain in place. One of the best and most easily seen if you visit South Africa is the spatial segregation between centres where blacks live, in particular African people, and where formerly whites have lived in South Africa. Part of the apartheid policy, for those of you that might not be familiar, was to ensure that the white CBD or the white central areas and upper middle class and middle class areas were separated from, in particular, African areas by a distance of somewhere between 20 and 40 kilometers. And when we were activists in the 1970s and 80s, we thought when we take over South Africa, as we did in 1994, we'll be able to eradicate that legacy overnight. Well, we're still working on it, I must be frank with you. Similarly, we've ensured that there are a number of sort of public assets that our people have access to, although a lot more could be done in the South African context as well. Part of the economic story in South Africa is still the fact that our product markets are considered to be uncompetitive. We still have an unemployment rate of somewhere around 24%, and as I indicated earlier, youth unemployment rate of about 50%. What we have done in the past 2 years is build national consensus around a national development plan, a plan which sets a vision for South Africa for the next 20 years and tries to unify all segments of society around that plan. And I believe that we've actually obtained a great deal of consensus, notwithstanding 1 or 2 dissenting voices in this particular regard.